Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and highly coveted coins in American numismatics, a coin that represents not only a piece of history but also a rare gem in the world of coin collecting. We're talking about the 1940 D-Mint Mark Wheat Penny, a coin whose value today can astound even seasoned collectors. With a current market value of $89,508, this penny is far more than loose change. It's a story of history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. Imagine holding in your hand what once passed through the pockets of everyday Americans during an era marked by global tension and the approaching years of World War II. The year 1940 was a pivotal moment in world history, and these pennies quietly traveled through commerce while the world changed around them. But among the millions minted, a very small number of these Denver Mint Wheat Pennies survive today in exceptionally high grade. These select few have become some of the most prized examples for collectors. To appreciate this coin fully, we need to understand where it fits in the grand timeline of American coinage. The Wheat Penny series, also known as the Lincoln Cent, was first introduced in 1909. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, marking the centennial of his birth. The reverse of the coin features two stalks of wheat, which is how it earned the popular name, Wheat Penny. This design continued through 1958 and became one of the most beloved and collected series in American history. The 1940 Denver Mint Penny is part of this iconic series, but what makes this particular year and mint mark so special? In 1940, the Denver Mint struck a huge number of wheat pennies, over 271 million coins. That sounds like a lot, and it is. Yet, virtually all of these circulated heavily back then. Pennies didn't have the same collectible appeal in everyday life over 80 years ago as they do now. Most were spent, saved in jars, lost, or melted down over time. What remains today are survivors, and only a precious few remain in mint state condition, meaning they look nearly like the day they were struck. Most of the 1940 D-Wheat pennies you'll find are heavily worn, showing decades of circulation. But for the small percentage that were tucked away and protected, the surfaces have survived in remarkably pristine condition. These high-grade examples are the ones that command astonishing prices. An MS-66 example, the grade where the coin is extremely well struck with original mint luster and only minor imperfections, can bring the kind of money that makes coin collectors pause. And the very finest known examples, graded MS-67 or higher by top grading services, are among the most valuable of all Lincoln Cents. When you look at the 1940 D penny under magnification, even the smallest details tell a story. The strike quality, the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the crispness of the date, the letters D for Denver, it all matters. Every nuance on the surface can influence its grade and ultimately its market value. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC carry premium value because collectors trust the consistency of these grading standards. A key point that adds to the allure of the 1940 D-Wheat penny is how challenging it is to find one in high grade. During the early 20th century, penny collecting wasn't common. Most people didn't save coins for their numismatic value. Loose change was simply money to be used. That means mint state survivors are far fewer than the original mintage would suggest. The rarity combined with collector demand is what drives prices into five-figure territory. Now let's talk about the market. In recent years, premium quality examples of this coin have sold at some of the most prestigious auctions. Dedicated collectors who understand the history and rarity will compete fiercely for examples that show minimal wear and strong eye appeal. You'll see bidding wars that push the final price well past typical expectations. A beautifully preserved 1940 D-Wheat penny with exceptional strike and luster has the ability to fetch close to $90,000 or even more, depending on the specific attributes captured in that coin. The story of how coins like these are discovered and enter the marketplace is fascinating. Many high-grade examples are found by accident. They might surface in old collections, forgotten estate holdings, or even modern coin hoards that are being sorted and graded. There's a palpable excitement when rare centennials like this turn up. Dealers and collectors alike dream about finding that one coin that could change a collection, and sometimes a life. Collectors often search relentlessly through unopened coin rolls, hoping to find a high-grade wheat penny lurking inside. While rare, the possibility of finding a 1940D in extraordinary condition is part of what keeps the hunt alive. Today's coin market has elevated wheat penny collecting to levels that many early collectors could never have imagined. Let's take a closer look at the design itself. On the obverse, we see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His likeness has graced the Lincoln cent for over a century, making these pennies one of the longest continuously used coin designs in U.S. history. The reverse wheat ears symbolize agricultural prosperity, an important theme in early 20th century America. This combination of historical significance, artistic appeal, and longevity is part of what makes this series so beloved. Collectors refer to survivor rates when discussing how many high-grade examples still exist. For the 1940D wheat penny, the survivor rate in MS65 or higher might be counted in the dozens, not hundreds. That's incredibly low when you consider how many coins originally entered circulation. Think of all the hands these coins passed through: the merchants, the families, the piggy banks. And yet only a tiny percentage retain original mint brilliance decades later. This scarcity is the essence of numismatic value. There's also the emotional aspect of owning a piece of history. Imagine sending one of these coins into a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. You receive it back encapsulated, with a detailed assessment of its condition. That slab becomes a tangible testament to your passion for collecting and the story of how this coin survived against all odds. Because of the skyrocketing values for rare examples, authenticity and grading are paramount. The market has become incredibly sophisticated. Experts examine coins under high magnification, check for signs of cleaning, alteration, or artificial enhancement. The integrity of a 1940D wheat penny must be beyond question when the price tag is in the tens of thousands. That's why certified coins with high grades and strong provenance command such premiums at auction. Many collectors will tell you that building a set of Lincoln wheat pennies is one of the most rewarding aspects of numismatics because you're not just collecting change, you're collecting stories. Each date and mint mark combination can represent different chapters of American history. The 1940D penny embodies the eve of a global conflict, everyday commerce, the evolution of American minting, and the mystery of survival through generations. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just discovering the fascinating world of rare coins, the 1940D wheat penny stands as an icon of scarcity and prestige. It's not just a penny. It's a symbol of how something that was once overlooked can become one of the most sought-after treasures in a collection. So if you ever get the chance to examine one in person, whether at a coin show, a private collection, or on the table at auction, take a moment to reflect on its journey. From the presses at the Denver Mint to the hands of collectors decades later, this coin has lived a remarkable life, and now, thanks to its rarity and condition, it carries a value that most pennies could only dream of. And that wraps up our deep dive into the 1940D mint mark wheat penny, a coin that transcends its humble origins to become a true numismatic masterpiece. Whether you're here to learn, appreciate, or perhaps explore collecting yourself, remember that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than their face value. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting for those hidden treasures. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and sought-after coins in the world of numismatics, a coin that sits at the crossroads of history, artistry, and rarity, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors across generations. I'm talking about the 1925 no-mint mark wheat penny, a humble 1-cent coin that today can command an astonishing market value of over $89,000. This coin may look modest at first glance, but its story is anything but ordinary. To fully appreciate this exceptional coin, we need to start by understanding the world into which it was born. The 1920s were a time of dramatic change in the United States. The end of the First World War in 1918 ushered in a decade of rapid economic growth, cultural transformation, and technological innovation. It was the age of jazz, the rise of the automobile, and an era when Americans were increasingly mobile and optimistic about the future. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was producing coins that would circulate in the everyday lives of millions of people. Among these coins was the humble Lincoln Wheat Penny, a design introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This seemingly modest coin would go on to become one of the most beloved and collected coin series in American history. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Lincoln graced the obverse. The reverse featured two stylized sheaves of wheat, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural abundance. For the entire first half of the 20th century, this design remained more or less unchanged, becoming one of the most iconic small cents ever produced. The 1925 Wheat Penny was struck at a moment when the series was well established. Millions of pennies were made each year, and most circulated just like the pennies we use today. But in 1925 something unusual happened that would later make one specific version of this year's penny highly significant to collectors. When we talk about the 1925 no-mint mark Wheat Penny, we're referring to pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Throughout much of the 20th century, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, so coins from that facility simply bear the year without any additional letter. The absence of a mint mark might sound unremarkable to a casual observer, but to the collector it can be a defining characteristic, not just of origin but sometimes of scarcity and value. Unlike coins struck in years with multiple mint facilities, the 1925 no-mint mark penny is by definition a Philadelphia piece. But what makes this particular coin truly rare and valuable is the dramatic difference between the number of pennies originally minted and the number that have survived in high-grade condition to the present day. The reported mintage for the 1925 Philadelphia Wheat Penny is relatively high. Millions were struck for circulation, meaning the vast majority of them spent their lives in everyday commerce, passing from pocket to pocket, purse to purse, and eventually being lost, spent, or melted down. Over decades, most coins suffered wear from use, friction, corrosion, and environmental conditions. Collectors, however, are obsessed with condition. To them, a coin's story is told through its surfaces. A heavily circulated penny tells one kind of story, full of handling and wear. But a coin that has survived with its details crisp and sharp tells a far more powerful narrative. It is this aspect of survival that separates common coins from rare numismatic treasures. The 1925 no-mint mark Wheat Penny is extraordinarily rare in high grades. For coins that are well worn, it may still be collectible, but the dramatic value escalation occurs at the upper end of the grading scale. A coin that retains full detail on Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat, with the wheat stalks crisp on the reverse, is a far different beast from the everyday pennies that once jingled in pockets across America. So what is it about this coin that makes it so valuable? The answer lies in a combination of factors. First, the survival rate of high-grade pieces is astoundingly low. Many coins were lost to circulation long before collectors began to assemble systematic collections. Those that were saved were often tucked away in collections that were later dispersed or subjected to poor storage conditions. Another factor is collector demand. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series is one of the most actively collected series in U.S. coins. Many collectors strive to assemble complete sets, year by year, mint mark by mint mark, across multiple grades. When a particular date and mint mark combination is scarce in desirable condition, demand naturally pushes up the price. As collectors scrutinized the series over the decades, it became clear that the 1925 Philadelphia issue was one of those key dates, especially in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition. In gem mint states, and particularly in gem mint state with exceptional eye appeal, survival examples are rare. And when rare coins are also beautifully preserved, the market takes notice. Let's talk about grading for a moment. Professional coin grading is the practice of evaluating a coin's condition and assigning it a numerical grade, usually on a scale from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 means the coin is perfect under magnification, with no visible imperfections. In reality, very few coins ever achieve this grade. For the 1925 no-mint mark penny, even coins graded in the 60s are considered exceptional. You might wonder how many examples of this coin exist in high grades. The exact number is difficult to pin down because many exist in private collections, some sit in estate holdings, and others have yet to be discovered. But coin registries, auction records, and professional grading service population reports all consistently show that high-grade 1925 pennies are uncommon at best and exceptionally rare at peak levels. When a coin is that rare, each example becomes an object of intense interest among seasoned collectors and serious investors alike. Auctions for top examples often generate competitive bidding, with collectors willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars to secure a single piece. In fact, the current market value for a superb 1925 no-mint mark wheat penny, in gem condition, can reach an astounding $89,000 or more. This valuation is not arbitrary. It is the result of many individual collectors and investors placing bids on such coins over time, each one essentially voting with their wallet for what the market will support. Prices at public auction reflect what buyers are actually willing to pay, and for coins of this caliber, the bids tell a clear story. Collectors place extraordinary value on rarity and condition. But how do you recognize a high-grade 1925 penny? What sets the best specimens apart from the rest? It begins with the most fundamental features of any coin: surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and eye appeal. Surface preservation refers to how free the coin is from scratches, marks, wear, or corrosion. A coin that has spent most of its life in a protective holder, safe from circulation or environmental damage, will retain fine details on Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks. Strike quality refers to how well the design was impressed into the metal at the moment of striking. Some coins were struck with greater force or at the perfect moment in the minting process, resulting in sharper detail. Luster is the term used to describe the way light reflects off the surface of a coin. Original mint luster can be brilliant, giving the coin a shimmering appearance. Coins that have lost their original luster due to wear or improper cleaning will not command the same high prices. Eye appeal is a more subjective quality, but one that dealers and collectors take very seriously. A coin may be technically high grade, but if it has unattractive toning, blemishes, or other visual distractions, it may not attract strong bids at auction. On the other hand, a coin with pleasing color and balance, even if slightly lower in technical grade, can sometimes outperform expectations. To illustrate this with a story, imagine two 1925 pennies that have survived the past 100 years. The first was saved by a collector in the 1940s, placed in a coin folder, and then eventually passed down through the family. It has light wear, is free from major marks, and retains much of its original sheen. The second was pulled from circulation in the 1960s and spent decades in a drawer with other old coins, where it accumulated scratches and dullness. Which of these two coins would you expect to fetch a higher price? The answer is obvious. The first coin, with better preservation and luster, is the one collectors will fight over. Of course, this is not to say that every collector must spend tens of thousands of dollars on a single penny. There are plenty of 1925 pennies available in lower grades that are affordable for beginners and hobbyists. Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we have an incredible story to share with you, one that will capture the imagination of coin collectors and history enthusiasts alike. We are diving into the fascinating world of the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny, one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world today. Believe it or not, a single specimen of this coin can fetch a jaw-dropping $3 million in today's market, making it not only a treasured collector's item but also an extraordinary investment. So, if you have any old pennies lying around, especially those minted in the early 1940s, you might want to pay very close attention, because today's story could change your perception of everyday coins forever. The year 1941 was a significant time in American history. The country was on the brink of entering World War II, and life in the United States was dramatically shifting. During this period, pennies were not just coins, they were pieces of history. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, had been in circulation since 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. These coins are instantly recognizable because of the two wheat stalks on the reverse side, symbolizing prosperity, growth, and the agrarian roots of the nation. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny, however, is far more than just a symbol. It is a rare artifact that connects us directly to a turbulent, transformative era in American history. When we examine the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny, The first thing to notice is the absence of a mint mark. Normally, pennies were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The presence of a D or S would indicate Denver or San Francisco minting, respectively. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this penny was produced in Philadelphia, the oldest and most historically significant mint in the United States. However, what makes this particular 1941 penny so special is not merely its place of origin, but its extreme rarity. Collectors around the world have spent decades searching for this elusive coin because only a very small number of specimens exist in mint or near mint condition. The design of the 1941 wheat penny is classic and elegant. On the obverse, or front side, we see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, which has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1909. Lincoln's profile is finely detailed, showing remarkable artistry, especially considering the mass production techniques of the early 20th century. On the reverse side, the iconic wheat stalks surround the denomination. 1 cent, along with the phrase, E pluribus unum, which translates to, out of many, one. This phrase, deeply rooted in American identity, reminds us that even a small coin carries profound symbolism. But despite its common appearance, the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny carries a story of scarcity, survival, and extraordinary value. So, why is this coin worth $3 million? The answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand from collectors. In the world of numismatics, coins are graded based on their condition, ranging from poor to perfect mint state. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny is almost impossible to find in uncirculated condition. Most pennies from this era show significant wear, scratches, or discoloration due to decades of circulation. Only a few pristine examples exist, and these coins command extraordinary prices because collectors are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of history that is virtually unique. The market for rare coins has evolved dramatically over the past few decades. What was once considered a modest collection of pennies in a shoebox can now be worth millions. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny has become a centerpiece in many high-profile auctions. Experts often advise that coins of this rarity should be preserved carefully in professional holders to maintain their value. Even slight damage can dramatically reduce a coin's worth, which is why collectors treat them with reverence. Some collectors even go to the extent of using specialized gloves and climate-controlled storage to protect these coins from environmental damage, highlighting just how precious these coins are in the modern market. The story of this coin also involves an element of luck and discovery. Many of the most valuable 1941 wheat pennies have been found in forgotten collections, old jars of coins, or passed down through families unaware of their historical significance. Imagine finding a penny in an old drawer or a box of coins that your grandparents left behind, only to discover that it could make you a multimillionaire overnight. These stories are more than just financial. They are tales of heritage, history, and serendipity. Collectors also note the subtle differences in the coin's minting process that contribute to its uniqueness. Variations in die strikes, minor differences in the positioning of Lincoln's portrait, and slight inconsistencies in the wheat stalks all make certain pennies more valuable than others. Every coin tells a story not only of the era in which it was minted but also of the artisans and technology used in its production. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny is a testament to the craftsmanship of the Philadelphia Mint, demonstrating that even during periods of global upheaval, precision and quality were maintained in American coinage. It is also fascinating to consider the cultural and historical context of 1941. America was on the cusp of entering World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor in December. Everyday items like pennies were suddenly more than just currency. They were symbols of continuity and stability in uncertain times. Owning a coin from this era is like holding a piece of that history in your hand. It connects us to the past in a tangible way, reminding us that history is not only recorded in books but also in the objects people used and treasured. In addition to its historical significance, the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny has captured the imagination of investors. Unlike stocks, bonds, or real estate, rare coins are a tangible asset. They are portable, durable, and historically appreciated. The demand for rare pennies like this one continues to grow because collectors and investors recognize their scarcity and enduring appeal. The fact that this coin can now be valued at $3 million demonstrates the strength of the market and the lengths collectors will go to secure such rare treasures. Many coin collectors also emphasize the importance of provenance. A coin's history, including its previous owners and documented sales, can significantly impact its value. Coins with clear, traceable provenance often sell for higher prices because buyers have confidence in their authenticity. In the case of the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny, some specimens have appeared at high-profile auctions with detailed documentation, making them especially desirable to serious collectors. These coins are not just objects, they are pieces of history with stories that span decades. It is also worth mentioning the excitement and competition that comes with collecting such rare coins. Auctions for the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny can attract intense bidding, with collectors from around the globe competing for a chance to own one of the few remaining examples. Each auction is an event, drawing attention from media, numismatists, and investors alike. The thrill of winning such a coveted coin is unparalleled, and it often results in record-breaking sales that make headlines. For anyone interested in coin collecting, the 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny represents the pinnacle of achievement. It is a symbol of dedication, research, and patience. Many collectors spend years building their knowledge, learning to identify subtle variations, and understanding market trends, all with the goal of finding coins like this one. The journey itself is as rewarding as the destination, and the discovery of a rare coin can change a collector's life forever. Even beyond its monetary value, the coin has an undeniable charm. So, if you have a collection of old coins at home, take a closer look. You might be holding a treasure that could change your life forever. The 1941 no-mint mark Wheat Penny is a reminder that history, art, and investment can come together in the smallest and most unassuming of objects, and that sometimes, the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos on rare and valuable coins. Remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the next great discovery could be just around the corner. Keep searching, stay curious, and treasure every penny you find, because you never know when history might be hiding in the palm of your hand.